Good morning, Facebook family and YouTube subscribers. Today is Monday. I have no idea what today's date is. I guess it is Monday, August the 26th. We are almost into September. Rent's almost due. Well, I am sitting here in the midst of cooking breakfast and in the process of having some coffee. I've already walked the dogs today. They were very quick. The weather is very nice. Last night in Atlanta was very cool. In fact, I turned the air conditioning off last night because there was just no need to run that because the temperature dropped fairly low into the 60s. So no air last night, so that was a good thing. So I think we're now starting to move into a period where, I did see we're going to be in the 90s for Labor Day weekend. So it's going to be kind of hot this weekend. Anyway, this weekend, I meant to print it. I am part of a event. You guys have to check my Facebook wall. I'm going to be part of a forum which takes place at the Hyatt on 10th Street. I'm pretty sure it's this Labor Day weekend. I'll post a link on my page so you all can check it out. If you want to come out and be part of a discussion, it's going to be 4 other guys there. Big Meech is going to be the host, and I'm just a guest on the panel. You know, they have to bring in a good Christian boy to help get things together, so I'm going to be that good Christian. Well, so anyway, I wanted to talk about a little personal. This is a tough one for me because I had said in previous videos that I am a convicted felon. I was convicted of some crimes in the early 90s. I was a little kid, didn't know no better. I know a whole lot better now. If I can get in a time machine and go back to that time, I jump out that time machine and choke the shit out of my ass and say, you need to stop this shit right now. But anyway, as we all know, they have not yet invented time machines, so there'll be no going back in time to stop yourself from doing some stupid shit. So as it stands, my stupid shit is still stupid shit, and it's still there on record. I've been working to get my record expunged over the past few years. You got to get an attorney, spend some money, and get all that taken care of. What a journey's been. But I get a lot of people who ask me questions, but especially a lot of young folks. And I always tell these people, you don't want to do something to get a felony on your record because it really does. It can cause some limitations on the things that you can do in your life. Now, me personally, I've always been self-employed. I had a few jobs here, but even the few jobs I had, thankfully, the people who hired me looked past my record because it was so old, over 20 years old, and they liked my character. And so I've been, even now I get job offers every day from all kinds of people. I can just be walking through a store or a business and people will come up to me and they see this big guy and like, well, are you looking for a job? I'm like, what does it pay? If it ain't $30 an hour, I ain't doing it. But but I turn down jobs a lot. But I know my situation is a little bit different because I'm a little bit more articulate. I can bullshit my way into a job, so to speak. But I know a lot of African American men who have felonies on their records. They're, in essence, especially if they're a lot younger, and they're just getting out the joint, they've served time. If they don't understand how to create a small business for themselves, they may have a problem finding jobs, finding employment. In fact, someone sent me a link where in Texas, a company, I think it was UPS, was hiring convicted felons because there's some federal money out there for companies that hire convicted felons. So they were expecting a few hundred people to show up. Over 6,000 convicted felons showed up at that job interview to be interviewed for these jobs. It was a job fair. 6,000 people. And I looked at that and I was like, it's a lot of guys out there who get caught up in all kinds of stuff, whether it's fighting with a girlfriend and hurting or harming her, and you charge with aggravated assault, and all of a sudden you got to plead this mess out. And if you can't get that reduced to something, and nine times out of 10 on an aggravated assault charge or any type of charge where you hurt someone, you're going to be stuck with that one. You got to eat that. They're not going to, it's very rare they'll reduce that to a misdemeanor. Because especially if there was some bodily damage or injuries to this person. When I was in prison, there were a lot of guys in there who had been in fights with their wives, girlfriends, and their wives. They got into fights and they injured their wife. A man can very easily injure a woman, broken arm, stuff that no one intended to happen. And these men ended up going to prison over this stuff and serving time. And their wives would come right up to the jailhouse to visit them. Figure that one out. Hey. These women who have been injured by their husbands would show up every Sunday with their kids in tow to visit their husbands who were in jail for beating them. Now, of course, these guys, when I spoke to a lot of those guys, they regretted whatever took place. I think a lot of domestic violence happens in these relationships, in any relationship, and I think sometimes things get out of hand and people get injured, and I don't think it's intentional, although it may not be intentional. Like the judge will clearly tell you, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Lock his ass up and throw away the key. Now, they will throw your ass in jail quick in America today. You a black man too? Breaking the law? Ask me how I know. When I was a little kid, I'd never been in trouble before in my entire life. They sent my black ass to prison. But it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because I saw a completely different world that I had never been exposed to. And it taught me something when I got my ass out of there to go sit my black ass down someplace and have a seat. And you keep breaking these people's laws, you're going to have a problem. And it also taught me that I know not to put my hands on somebody in a violent manner. Because I've had friends who got into fights at clubs, hit somebody with a beer bottle or a liquor bottle, and they end up going to prison. You're going to go to jail on an aggravated assault charge or any type of, when you injure or hurt somebody, you're going to jail. DUI, you kill and injure somebody, you're going to jail. You're going to serve some time. And you're going to have that felony on your record. So some stuff can be avoided. Don't drink and drive. It's not worth it. You kill somebody coming down 285 or up I-20 or coming through Midtown, your ass is in trouble. In worse trouble than somebody who might have robbed a bank. Because here you are, you didn't kill somebody. You got to deal with that on your conscience. It's a heavy load. And now you're on your way out to prison for, I forget what the charge is, but homicide by vehicle or manslaughter or whatever they're going to charge your ass with. It definitely, well, I have some friends who have been charged with those crimes and served time in prison for hurting or killing someone by drinking and driving, leaving a nightclub drunk as a skunk. People who college educated, got a good job, good career, everything's going to hell now because they were drunk and driving. I know in my case I did something stupid. And I was young, I just keep saying I was a little kid. But the way things worked out then, I think it opened my eyes and educated me very quickly on how this works. You break the law. Don't break the law if you can't serve. Don't do the crime if you cannot do the time. Everybody need to write that down. Do not do the crime if you cannot do the time, because they're going to give you some time. They got 10,000 prisons they building and opening every day. New! Grand opening! Prison. And they gladly open that place and throw your ass in there. I've seen it. But in fact, when I served that time, this was over 20 years ago, over 23, 24 years ago, 25 years ago, I have to do the math, every facility I went to was brand spanking new. They were opening up these places. They were bringing in busloads. Come on, y'all, come on in. I have to do a video one day to talk about my experiences in there. That was a long time ago. The prison system has changed. These guys are way more violent today than they were then. Now you got more people serving drug crimes. You got a lot younger prison population than when I was in there. When I was there, I was 19, 20 years of age, and everybody else was 25, 30. Much more mature guys who were in there serving. It was just a different world. I would not want to be in nobody's prison system today. No sirree. I can't do it. These people, because I've heard the stories and I've watched the news and I talk to people. I have a buddy of mine I work out with at the gym. This man is 40. If I'm 43, he's either 44 or 45 years of age. This man just served 20 years in prison. We almost the same age. 20 years, half his life. 20 years behind bars. And I listen to everything. When that man talk to me, I sit and listen. Like, my ears perk up when he started talking because he's a quiet person. But when he starts talking, that man got some knowledge out this world, and I listen to everything he's saying. And he's doing, for somebody who was in prison for 20 years, you think he'd be kind of messed up. Oh no, he ain't messed up. He got his act together. Got him a small business. He knew doing the right things. He's matured. And he will tell you, and every time he tells me this all the time, had he not gone to prison, had he not got that long prison sentence, he'd be dead today. He'd be dead today. Dead. So, anyway, I might do some more videos about my experiences as a convicted felon. But it's a tough one to discuss. Not really tough. It just takes me back down his memories. I'm like, oh my God. You know what's so funny? And I'm going to get off this. The guys that I served prison time with 20 years ago hit me up daily on Facebook. Hey, I didn't recognize. Is this Walter from? I'm like, yeah, this is me. That is very funny to me. I have to do a video about, because some of the best friendships and some of the coolest guys I ever met. I know this sounds crazy, but they were in jail. They were in prison. We became a family. It was just like hard to explain. And I see those guys often. And the message is clear that had they not served time, they would be dead. They would not have made it on these streets of Atlanta. Because they were just too out there doing too much crazy shit. So, hey. Anyway, I'm going to make my bread. Okay, so I got some fresh mango, some bananas, oatmeal. I was going to cook some chicken sausage and rice, but I had that a couple of days in a row. I don't know. I'm going to go in this kitchen and whip up something. I got my eggs already done, so I can either make a mango banana protein shake with the egg whites and oatmeal. Mango bananas, oatmeal, and egg whites. Or I can do rice, chicken sausage, toast, and egg whites. I'm going to figure it out. You guys have a great day. Thanks for watching my videos, and give me some feedback on what you think on today's topic. And I look forward to reading you guys' comment. Have a great day. Bye.